The truth that will change your life. Have you ever wondered? Does God hear the prayers of someone who doesn't believe in Him? Can a person far from the church, who doesn't know Jesus, who may even doubt or reject Him, can that person be heard by the Almighty? This question isn't just theological. It's personal. Because every single one of us, at some point in life, has either been that person or has loved someone who is. Today, I want to walk with you through Scripture, church teaching, and personal reflection to uncover the truth behind this powerful question. And I believe, if you stay with me, this answer will not only challenge your assumptions, but it might also open a door of mercy and hope in your heart. Let's begin with a moment of silence. Not just silence to hear me, but silence to hear God. Because whether you're a lifelong Catholic or someone who's just curious, this conversation matters. It matters for your soul. It matters for the ones you love. So let me ask again. Does God hear the prayers of an unbeliever? Part 1. What is prayer, really? Before we answer the question, we must ask, what is prayer? Because too often, we treat prayer like a vending machine. We put in a request, and we wait for results. If the results don't come, we assume the machine is broken, or maybe we didn't do it right. But prayer is not just asking. Prayer is relationship. Prayer is the human heart speaking, sometimes with words, sometimes in silence, sometimes in pain, sometimes in joy. Saint Teresa of Lisieux said, "For me, prayer is a surge of the heart, it is a simple look turned toward heaven, it is a cry of recognition and of love, embracing both trial and joy." The Catechism of the Catholic Church tells us in paragraph 2559, prayer is the raising of one's mind and heart to God or the requesting of good things from God. That definition includes everyone. Because who doesn't cry out when life becomes unbearable? Who doesn't whisper something, anything, into the air when hope seems lost? Even atheists, in their most desperate moments, sometimes utter the word God. Not out of habit, but from the depths of their soul. So, if prayer is the soul reaching upward, what happens when the soul doesn't believe in the one it's reaching for? Part 2. God's mercy is bigger than our understanding. We must be very clear on this. God is not limited by our belief in Him. Romans 5:8 says, "But God proves His love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Let that sink in. While we were sinners. Not after we repented. Not after we changed. Not after we got our act together. But while we were still sinners. Jesus died for those who didn't even know His name. He died for those who rejected Him. He died for those who didn't believe they needed saving. And that same Jesus, full of mercy and compassion, hears the cry of the human heart. Now, this doesn't mean God answers all prayers the same way. There is a difference between the prayer of someone in a state of grace, united to the church and walking with God, and someone far from Him. But let's not underestimate the reach of God's mercy. Saint Peter, in Acts 10:34-35, says, God shows no partiality, but in every nation anyone who fears Him and does what is right is acceptable to Him. God sees the heart. Even if the person doesn't know how to pray correctly. Even if the person doesn't know His name. Part 3, the scripture that shakes our assumptions. Let me take you to one of the most profound stories in the Bible. Luke 18:9-14, the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. Two men go up to the temple to pray. One is righteous, religious, confident in his good deeds. The other, a tax collector, despised, unworthy, full of guilt. And yet Jesus says this. I tell you, this man, the tax collector, rather than the other, went home justified before God. Why? Because of his humility. Because of the truth in his prayer. Because he cried out, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Now think about this. The Pharisee believed in God. He followed the law. He prayed often. But his heart was proud. The tax collector may not have had perfect theology, but he had something powerful, a contrite heart. And Psalm 51 tells us, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. So, does God hear the prayers of an unbeliever? If that unbeliever has a humble, sincere, searching heart, the answer is yes. Part 4, the different types of hearing. Let's be nuanced. Hearing is not always the same as answering. And answering is not always the same as saying yes. The Church teaches that grace can operate outside the visible boundaries of the Church. This is what we call prevenient grace, grace that comes before conversion. Grace that leads a person toward faith. That means that when an unbeliever prays, however clumsily, God can respond with the grace needed to draw that soul to Himself. It's like a father hearing the voice of a child who doesn't yet know how to speak clearly. He understands. He comes near. He listens, not because the words are perfect, but because the child is his. Part 5, the saints knew this too. Let's look at the saints, those giants of faith who walked with God more closely than most. Saint Augustine once lived in sin and confusion, chasing pleasure and ambition. His mother, Saint Monica, prayed for years and years, until finally, Augustine cried out to a God he wasn't sure he believed in. And God heard. God didn't wait for perfect faith before pouring out mercy. He responded to Augustine's cry and led him home. Saint Paul was persecuting Christians. He hated the church. And yet on the road to Damascus, God revealed himself in glory. Sometimes, it's not that an unbeliever reaches up to God. It's that God reaches down to them. Part 6, what this means for you and me. So what does all of this mean? First, if you are a believer, do not stop praying for the unbelievers in your life. Your prayers are powerful. Your intercession can be the bridge that helps someone far from God find their way back. Second, if you are the unbeliever, if you're doubting, distant, unsure, know this: God already sees you. He knows your fears. He hears your sighs. And even your silence can be a prayer. Cry out to Him, even if you're not sure He's there. Because He is. Part 7, the Eucharistic miracle of listening. In every Mass, Catholics believe that Jesus becomes truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity, in the Eucharist. And we also believe He listens. Think about this. God humbles Himself not only to hear us, but to dwell among us, to be close enough that no prayer, no whisper, no tear goes unnoticed. Even if you've never stepped foot in a church. Even if you feel unworthy to speak. Even if you think you're too far gone. He is listening. Part 8, Final Reflection, the Open Door. I want to leave you with this image. A man walks through a forest. He doesn't know where he's going. He's lost, tired, and cold. In his exhaustion, he falls to his knees and mutters, "If anyone's out there, help me." That man might not know God. But God knows him. And maybe, just maybe, that prayer is the very thing that begins his journey home. God does not ignore the cry of a soul. He is not deaf to desperation. He does not require a degree in theology to come near. He only asks for one thing: an open heart. So, does God hear the prayers of an unbeliever? Yes. Because God is love. And love always listens.